Are Bentley Arnage values on the rise? Here are 5 reasons why I think this is potentially a car to watch. It's not really a secret to car guys that Rolls-Royce and Bentleys can be found relatively inexpensively online on sites like AutoTrader or eBay Motors. Now the first counterpoint to this argument is always, yeah, but upkeep and maintenance and blah 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 blah. But the truth is, these cars are worthy of consideration. When I first purchased the Arnage, the purpose was just to enjoy the car and then after a while maybe turn around and sell it and not have taken too much of a loss because most of the depreciation has already been done. However, I've come across a couple articles that have caused me to question my strategy. I want to cover 5 points on why I think now is a good time to consider a Bentley Arnage. The first point comes from an article that was written in Rolls-Royce and Bentley Driver magazine. And this article talks about the potential collectability of the Bentley Arnage, in particular the Arnage R. The article makes the point that it's absolutely the right time to buy. They interviewed an expert from Introcar, which is a global Rolls-Royce and Bentley part retailer located in the UK. And even though the price of upkeep and maintenance on this car is going to be higher than a normal car, considering what else is out there in the collector car market for around the same price, you really can't go wrong with the Bentley Arnage. An article that follows up on that, and is my second point, is from Bloomberg.com. They interviewed a representative from Haggerty Insurance. They're a collector car agency that specializes in the value of collector cars, who made the following quote. For the Arnage, a savvy buyer can watch the market and expect it to gain value over 5 years. Certainly, over the next couple years, the Arnage is the one to watch. A quote like that definitely catches my attention. So there are a couple sources out there who are saying that Arnage is a candidate to watch as far as collectability and the potential for going up in value. The third point I want to make about this car is something that comes from the specialist where I take my car for service. And he makes the point that unlike your regular daily driver car, the money that you put into a car like a Bentley Arnage is potentially recouped on the sale of the car. Take, for example, my Bentley is going to need some maintenance work. Now, assume that maintenance work costs $2,500, but when I turn around to sell my car, I'm going to show that this work has been done and the person buying the car isn't going to try to negotiate me down on the price to say, well, this needs to be done and this needs to be done, and want a ton of money taken off the price. Not only are they going to see that the repair has been done, but they're going to have a history of repairs that have been done, which certainly adds a lot of value to the car for the next buyer. A counter example of this is on my 1997 4Runner, which is probably worth maybe $3,500, I need to replace the valve cover gaskets, which I've had a couple quotes come in around $600. Now, if I put that $600 into this car, I'm not going to be able to ask for $4,200 on my sales price. It's just not going to add that much value. But on a car like a Bentley or Rolls-Royce, you're going to get that value put back into the car. Now, I know that's an extreme example, and I'm not pretending that every dime I put into my car for service and maintenance and repairs, I'm going to get back. I'm just saying a significant portion is adding value or helping to maintain its existing value on the car. The fourth point I want to make about the Bentley Arnage is these cars were coming from an era where reliability across the board for all auto manufacturers was improving. People joke about the reliability of old Rolls-Royce or Bentley cars and British cars in general, but the truth of the matter is that's kind of an old stereotype. Even Leno makes a comment in his video about the Bentley Turbo R.
You know, when I worked for Bentley and Rolls-Royce, early 70s, quality control was not the best. I remember we delivered a Rolls-Royce Carnage to a guy. I drove it to his house. The next day the guy called. The car had burned to the ground in the driveway.
The cars had a reputation for being unreliable. But I think that's true for a lot of older cars. The Arnage was developed and built in the late 90s, so reliability has come a long way since the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Sure, these cars have their little idiosyncrasies, but what car doesn't? These potential flaws are usually some sort of anomaly, and it doesn't affect 100% of the cars across the board. The fifth and final reason I say now is a good time to buy these cars, a bit of a personal one, and that was just that I didn't want to miss out on the chance to own this car. It was an attainable dream car. Another car that was an attainable dream car for me was the Ferrari 328. It was a car I loved growing up. I remember seeing it in 80s movies and just thought it was the coolest car. I was the type of person where if you showed a 328 and talked about Magnum PI, I would quickly condemn you and correct you and tell you Magnum PI drove a Ferrari 308. That's the type of fan I was. Those cars dropped to about $35,000 in price and it seemed like something that I could own one day. Well, fast forward to about 2014, the Ferrari market really started to take off and those cars almost doubled in value, which basically put it out of reaching for me. And I didn't want that same thing to happen with the Arnage. Now, I'm not thinking that the Arnage is going to double and go up in value the same way a Ferrari does, but The point is, I didn't want to pass up on an opportunity to own a car while I had a chance. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. So what's the conclusion? If you love the car and you're willing to do the work to find a good one, I can tell you without reservation, and as a couple of these experts have said also, go for it.
Do it!
In the end, will these cars go up in value? I certainly hope so, and it's an interesting side note to this experience. But that's not what it's about for me. As with most cars, unless you're a seasoned investor or car collector, buy a car because you enjoy it and you want to experience it. So what do you guys think? Will the Bentley Arnage go up in value, or will it end up like the Bentley Mulsanne that I had in my last video that's just rotting away in some warehouse because it's too expensive to fix? Let me know your opinions, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Do it!